is August 1st. I am restarting Tirzepatide today. I have not been doing the Tirs since the 1st of April, I think. So it's been April, May, June, July, 4 months. I have gained roughly 30 pounds in the 4 months that I have been off the Tirzepatide. I attribute that completely to myself. Like, I have been overeating. I've been eating all the things. It's been that situation where I don't want to say I'm mindlessly stuffing my face because I know what I'm doing when I'm doing it. It was nice on the Tirzepatide because it literally felt like I couldn't eat after I had eaten, until a certain amount of time had passed. So I am going to start out slow. I am going with the 2.5 milligrams. I have already made my pen up, my easy pen. I reconstituted using 0.3 milliliters of backwater. My dose will be 2.5. It's a 15 milligram vial that I'm using. I had a number of those left over. And my dad's still doing it, and he's using the 60 milligram vials. So I'm just I don't need those right now. So he's using those, I'm using the 15s. And with the 0.3 milliliter of backwater at 2.5 milligrams, that will be 5 units, so 5 clicks on the pen. I have not purged the air out of this yet. I will do that in a minute when I put my pen tip on the needle. Lately, what have I been doing since the last video? Been on a couple trips. As far as the hormone replacement therapy, I am on the 200 milligrams progesterone, the 0.375 estrogen patch. I do have the vaginal estradiol cream. I don't use that all too often these days. I do have testosterone cream that I should be using daily, but I haven't really been doing that the last week or so. It's not been, my back's been in a lot of pain. So basically at the end of the night, I'm just getting into bed. So 2 weeks ago, 2 Mondays ago now, I woke up and my back, I've had lower back problems before. I was thrown from a horse when I was 16, and I've had some other stuff throughout the years that have happened. My lower back, I don't know if it's a nerve gets pinched or if it's a compressed disc or what it is. Usually it takes care of itself. It hurts for a few days. I'll finally go to the chiropractor. I'll get adjusted. A day or two after that, it's basically working its way out. That has not been the case this time. So I've been, I don't know how I did it. I just woke up and it was just in pain. I've tried icing, heating, where you go on and off, 20 minutes, 20 minutes. I've done the ibuprofen. I've done the Tylenol. I've done the Tylenol with the ibuprofen. I have tried stretching. I've tried walking. My husband gives me massages, and that helps at the time, but in the morning it's still very tight again. I have done the chiropractic. So I'm trying to get in to get a cortisone shot because I had one of those it's probably between 13 and 15 years ago now. It's been a long time since I've had one. But I do remember that helped at the time. So I would like to get in to do that. Well, my doctor can't get me in until the 13th of August. So I have to go another 2 weeks with this. And they're like, oh, try the urgent care. So I called urgent care. I'm like, do you guys actually do cortisone shots? They're like, nope. Try the pain and spine clinic. So I was like, fine. So I called them. They're like, well, we need a referral. So then I messaged my doctor and I'm like, hey, since you guys can't get me in for the next 2 weeks, can you just send a referral? And they wrote back. They're like, oh no, we actually have to see you first because we have to document it. So we can't give you a referral, which is bullshit if you ask me. I've already been in pain for 2 weeks. You're going to make me wait another 2 weeks just so you can be like, yeah, we can't help you with this. We need you to go to no. So luckily this spine clinic, they have a self-referral, but it's so old school. I have to print out a paper, fill it out by hand, and then fax it to them to do a self-referral, which doesn't sound like it's a lot, but it'd be so much easier just to do this online. I think it's a bunch of crap that you have to fill it out by hand and then mail it in. So I'm planning on doing that today, and hopefully they can get me in within the next little bit. Honestly, I don't care if it's a cortisone shot. I am not drug seeking. I don't want opioids. Those make me sick. I don't need any of that. I don't think muscle relaxers would probably do all that much. I've had muscle relaxers in the past and for my back, and I have not noticed anything. Oh, I've also tried a lidocaine patch. that 5% lidocaine patches. That's for my dad because he broke his back about a month ago now. I'll tell you about that. So I feel like I've tried most of everything there is to try. So I want the cortisone shot at this point. I would actually like to get a x-ray of my back too to see what's going on in there. And maybe they'll order that. I don't know. So like a month ago, my husband and I were going to go to a concert to go see the Bare Naked Ladies in this outdoor arena. And I was really excited about it because it was Bare Naked Ladies and Fastball and somebody else. I don't know. I was excited for all three bands that were playing. So we go to drop my youngest off at my dad's because my elder son was at a friend's house. And my dad usually watches our youngest on these nights where we're going to be gone for multiple hours. So we get there. He had a pizza delivered earlier. We're talking about the best ways to reheat pizza. And he's on oxygen. I believe you guys know that. And he was out of his chair and off of his oxygen because he can be off the oxygen for a while. And we were just talking, and all of a sudden he was like, oh no, oh, and he put his hands out like he was gonna stumble or fall. And then he just kept going. He smacked his head on his granite countertops and like bounced off of it basically face first onto the floor. And we were just kind of like in shock. And later on, I was like, oh shit, I should have tried to step in front of him and catch him and all that kind of stuff. But I thought that he was going to catch himself because he had his hands out for one. And also, I don't know, it was just like frozen. But then I also thought later, trying to get in his way, he's a 200 and, at the time, 211, 215 pound man. Like that probably would have done a doozy on me. We probably would have both gone down. Anyway, he's like bleeding from his head because when he cracked his head on the counter, it opened up and he wasn't being coherent. He couldn't move his arms and his legs. He kept trying to and he wasn't making any sense. So I told Jess, I'm like, we need to call an ambulance. So we called the ambulance. They got there. He didn't know what the month was, couldn't say who the president was, kept apologizing to them, kept apologizing to us. That's kind of his default if he thinks he's being a burden. And they're like, well, your blood pressure is a little bit low. We think that you need to go to the ER. He's like, well, do you really think I need to? And I look at him, I'm like, yeah. I'm like, you're going to go to the ER. And he's like, okay. So he's like, my back's a little bit sore. So they get him onto a stretcher. They take him out into the hospital. And he's talking this whole time, just keeps apologizing. And we get to the hospital. And so we go home, drop our son off, and we're like, we'll be back in a couple hours. And he's fine on a couple hours on his own. He'd probably be fine for longer than that, but we don't. Anyway, so we drive out to the ER that they have him in. His back's really starting to hurt. He's like just seizing up in pain and stuff. Massively long story short, they said that he broke his back in 3 places when he fell. So that's why he's having the crazy back pain. So then they want to send him to a trauma center. So we're like, okay. So I drive my husband home. Then I go back out to the other hospital for the trauma center, and they do some MRIs and all this kind of stuff. And I finally leave. I get home at 2:30 in the morning, I think. Needless to say, we did not make the concert. I tried giving the tickets away too. I put it on Facebook. I went out to the community here. I'm like, hey, if you guys want, and I was giving them away for free. If anyone wants these, I called my friends. Nobody wanted to take me up on it. So yeah, if I had seen free concert tickets, I would have been all about that. So they do an MRI and they say, well, you do have 3 fractures in your spine, but we're not sure if they're old fractures or they're new ones. We think this one by your sacrum, lower back, is a new one. We're not sure because he was a police officer for 20 years and he had a number of accidents when he was on motorcycles and stuff. And he was like, all right. And they're like, we want to put you in this back brace. So he was there for 4 or 5 days and they're telling him, we want you to do this PT. We're going to have you in this back brace. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. After the occupational therapist left, Dad looks at me. He's like, yeah, I'm not doing that. And I'm like, okay. So anyway, it's been probably over a month now. He's doing great. He still doesn't really get the exercise, but I can't say that's due to the back injury. That's just him, He's very sedentary. He just watches a lot of TV. He's got a really sweet adult trike that I wish that he would take out more. I do understand that his lung capacity is reduced from the COPD, But I also believe, and this is maybe erroneous, maybe someone can tell me if this is wrong, that if he were to exercise his lungs a little bit, what he has left would be strengthened, and maybe it wouldn't be, uh, I don't know, maybe he could lower his oxygen needs. I don't really know how that works, so maybe I'm being unkind or unfair. He texted us today to say that he lost 4 pounds last week, and it kind of freaked him out. So he's down to 208 now, I think. And I was like, well, make sure. So I asked ChatGPT, I'm like, for this age and this weight and this amount of sedentary lifestyle, you know, how many grams of protein should he be going for? How many calories? So ChatGPT gave me like this whole formula of, yeah, this is how we got here, but this is what he should be doing. Here's like a sample menu, which I thought was kind of cool. So I send that to Dad, and he's just like, yeah, I don't know how to do that. He's like, maybe it's nothing. I'll just keep an eye on it. Or, you know, and if I continue to lose, you know, 4 pounds a week, because it's only been usually like half a pound to 1 pound, maybe 2 pounds, and then he'll go back up. And so it's frustrating because I was like, maybe just chart what you're eating for 2 days, 2 or 3 days, just to make sure you're hitting your calories, because it was saying that he should be between 14 and 1600 calories, depending. He was like, yeah, no, I'll just keep an eye on it. So he doesn't want to put the work in. I'm like, you eat a TV dinner at night, like the calories are on the back of the box. You take a protein shake, calories are on the back. You eat a small handful of crackers maybe during the day. And it usually tells you one serving is 20 crackers or whatever for X amount of calories. Like, it's, the thing that's difficult is, you know, if you want to eat like a cup of green beans, or you have one hard-boiled egg, which even that you can look up the calorie values for, but he just doesn't want to put the work in. And it's frustrating to me because I'm like, this is your body, you know, if I want to make sure that you're getting enough food, but he just doesn't want to do the work. So I guess at this stage, we're just keeping an eye on it. And if he loses a good quantity of weight next week, then I'll titrate him down. He's on 12.5 milligrams currently. That's what he's been on for the last few months. So we both, when he started taking the tirzepatide, I had been on it for a little bit, and we were both roughly 275. So he's down to 208. I am back up to 260. So my high weight when I very first started was like 280 or 282, something like that. So I'm still 20 pounds lower than when I very first started, but I'm not that low. And I keep seeing all these success stories of people being like, oh yeah, I've been off Zepbound or Mounjaro or whatever for, 6 months, and I've been able to keep the weight off. I just had to change my habits and my lifestyle. Well, no shit. Changing your dietary habits and your lifestyle, that's the key, right? Anyway, I don't know if I was on the losartan back in April. I don't think that I was. So I'm on 25 milligrams of losartan for blood pressure because I was feeling like my blood pressure was high, so I was tracking it and it was a bit high, so they had me on the lowest dose, and I'm fine with that. So I'm not taking supplements, anything. I was having a really bad time with heart palpitations for a while. So I was like trying to supplement with everything, just trying to figure out what the hell was going on. And then finally I said, you know what? I'm just going to take it back to basics. I'm going to stop all supplements and we'll just see what happens. And then my palpitations went away. So I was like, well, flipping A, maybe I was over supplementing. They'll come and go still. I'll have days where I'm getting more palpitations than others, but they don't impede on my lifestyle right now. It makes me nervous when I get them, but for a while it was frequent and very off-putting. So right now, yeah, I'm just taking I take my Wellbutrin, bupropion is the generic. I take that in the morning. I take my losartan in the morning. And then at night, I take the 200 milligrams of the progesterone. That's basically it, aside from the patch and the cream that I'm supposed to be using that I don't necessarily use. So yeah, that's where I am. Okay, guys, I am going to purge my pen and I will take my shot. I'll be right back. I realize it's been a while since you guys have seen this. So I used a alcohol swab on the top, and then I swabbed my leg where I'm going to inject. Okay, you put the pen tip on, like this. It's got an inner tip, so you take that out. So what I'm going to do, because you see my liquid is just like up to here, I need to purge all this air. So you just go like a lot of units, if you will, you know, and it just pushes. And because there's a needle here, it's allowing air to escape out of the needle. I made the mistake once of, when I was filling this, you're supposed to have a tiny needle sticking out the side, and then like the main needle that you're injecting the liquid in with. I forgot to use the tiny needle as like a valve. So I put the liquid in. Well, this thing, because there was so much pressure in here then, because I was adding liquid and air to it, basically just shoved this down the bottom, and then I lost all the liquid in it. And that was an irritating learning process. It wasn't a learning process, actually. I've been doing it for a while, but. And then when you get closer to it being up top, you know, you do smaller units, so you're not going to end up losing liquid. Let's see if I can get this in frame. Nope, maybe. I don't know. Oh, here we go. So, I don't know if you can, basically there was a little bubble of liquid that came out the top. So that's how you know it's purged. All right, kids, I have done my 5 milligrams. I have already cleaned my leg. Man, I haven't done a shot in forever. That is a spicy needle prick. And you wait, you know, 10 seconds or so to make sure all the liquid is absorbed. Back down to 0. So I'm just doing tiny little doses. That's it. All right. Then when you're all done, you take the lid, you put it back on, safety lid. Then you take this, you unscrew this, and this has a needle at the base of it as well as in the top. That's what punctures that gasket. And then this one has a lid, just clip it on, and then you put it back in the fridge to use, you know. Oh, I am going every 5 days instead of 7 days. That's, I feel, what works best for me when I did this before. Okay, I am starting on the journey again. Man, when I was in the freezer looking for the box that had all my Tirzepatide 15 vials, I have so many other boxes in there. I still have like the, I don't know, just all those peptides I got months ago. I still have them. Like, I haven't done anything over the last 4 months. So I still have plans to do the NASK, the ARA 90 or 160 or whatever that is. I have so much stuff though I have to look up to see what it is and what it does, because I can't remember what I have. So I guess my goals are, I don't know if it's good for me to continue. I've been trying to walk at least 7,000 steps a day. I know it's not the 10,000, but baby steps. The 7,000 steps a day. Because of my back, I don't know if it's better just to lay still and let it try to like resolve, or if I should be doing the 7,000 steps. I've been playing Pokemon Go again, so I've been outside trying to like walk around and stuff. I don't know what the best thing is for that. I bet anyone would say, oh, exercise, gentle exercise is probably good. But a lot of times my back won't be hurting as much, and then I'll go for a walk, and then it is like downright aching, if not excruciating. I took the boys to the park, was it last weekend, I think, maybe? And by the time I was done, I was almost crying. Like, my back hurts so bad. And it hadn't been too bad earlier in the day, so I don't know. But anyway, I will see you guys 5 days from now. And wish me luck. Bye.